Wouldn't it be nice if you had a single hub to manage all of your clients' books in a single location, regardless of what accounting platform they were on? It's kind of the holy grail, right? One place where you can post book and tax adjustments, assign accounting tasks throughout the year, and rather than do a year's work in tax season, keep plugged in with the client, be advising, be fixing things, and always be connected. I think you know where this is headed. BaCo Tech is building just to give you a little walkthrough of how it works. Now, this is ambitious what they've built. It's a single hub to manage ledgers down to the transaction, but also clear through to a seamless import into your tax suite. So right now they integrate with QBO, QuickBooks Desktop, Sage, and Xero. On the tax side, they integrate with Lacert. They've got access in the works, and they're looking for some beta users to speak into the product and help build out the rest of their tax integrations. So if that sounds interesting to you, schedule a demo via the link above the video. But enough of all that. Let's get down to business today. I'm going to touch on the accounting side of this tool, and in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have another video that goes through the tax side and how probably being plugged in throughout the year allows you to more naturally lean into that advisory throughout the year rather than waiting until tax season to do a year's worth of work. And so we'll talk about kind of how that probably changes your approach to tax season in general. So let's dive into the tool here. I'm going to start at the firm center to give you an idea of how things are defined at the firm level, and then clients plug into that. Now, what we've traditionally done is clients come with a set of books. We try to plug into it a myriad of different ways. This is kind of flipped. You design the framework for how you want clients to plug into it. And then regardless of what system they're on, they plug into your system and you've got a standardized way of approaching your workflow. Now, one thing I like about this straight out of the gate is they let you set a firm level capitalization policy limit. This means if there's anything that falls outside of this, it's going to flag it in the command center. And remember, this has got a deep integration with your tax suite. So this will even push fixed asset additions into your tax software. All right, let's hop over to groupings. This is where you set up your groups of companies. So you've got groups on the left-hand side here, and then all of the companies that belong to them in the middle. Straightforward to pull them between different groups. The interesting thing here is this is actually pulling from your tax software. So if we type in an owner's name, it's going to show all the companies that are owned by that owner. Pretty interesting. So let's say we wanted to give Jerry access to all of these companies inside the platform. You could simply add him as a client user, put his info in here, and then select all the companies you want to give him access to. And then he could hop in here and see the consolidations and that sort of thing as well. Now, another interesting thing this enables is because you can pull businesses easily between different groups, you could look at them not only based on the owner, but based on, say, control groups that are important for tax purposes. You're not limited to kind of a single view when it comes to pulling those companies together. Over to the command center. So this is kind of your single hub for alerts, things you may want to look out for in the accounting throughout the year. And it's a collection of all those gotchas that you run into very commonly with client tax prep. So the one that's in here is you need to set up some fixed asset additions, but they built a ton of logic into this. I have seen, a flag for when the bookkeeper put the word gift into a memo line. That's something you want to look into. If they put them into a unclassified group, kind of an Ask My Accountant equivalent. Intercompany transactions. So if you've got things happening between two companies that don't match, that could be a one-to-one relationship. It can actually even be a one-to-many relationship if there's several transactions that all consolidate together. That's an example of something that's getting flagged here. This is kind of an engine that they're continuing to build upon that's catching all of those gotchas that you normally run into during the tax process. And rather than handling those in tax season all at once, you can get alerts and your team can get alerts as soon as those things come up throughout the year so that you can proactively reach out to your client rather than doing a whole bunch of fixing for people at the same time during tax season. So that's a great way to lean into the power of having all of your ledgers in a single place. And it'll be interesting to see how they continue to build upon this. Because this is what's going to let you delegate that accounting work across your team throughout the year. Okay, let's hop over to Benchmark Center. This is where you run your consolidated financials across different company groups. And remember, this is being done on top of all of these different accounting systems that are being aggregated into a single place. So you set up the groupings that you see here, cash in the bank, prepaid expenses, all of the things that fall into those buckets. And then regardless of what system these companies live in, whether it's desktop, whether it's Sage, even whether it's Excel, you can import companies that way. They're all going to get grouped in a common format so that you can put things side by side and in real time have the ability to see what's happening. Now, this isn't just aggregate balances. This is actually down to the transaction detail. So if you think about how you normally navigate things inside of, say QBO's financial reports, same thing's possible here down to every transaction. So this is just demo data, but you can see that it's going to pull everything in from all of the companies that you want to see into a single place. So rather than having to hop around between the different platforms, you're able to explore it here. So let's hop over to the income statement. It's what you'd expect. And again, you've got total control over how you set up these groupings. One of the things I really like here is that you can actually post adjustments. So let's hop in here and find something to adjust. Let's look at meals. So I'm looking at the meals detail here, and let's say that they put some entertainment into a meals account. That would never happen, right? I'm going to say update accounting/tax, and we've got a few options here. So we've got fixed asset, and this is actually how you push new fixed asset additions into the system and by extension into your tax software. You do tax journal entries. We'll talk a little more about that in the next video, and then you can simply post AJEs. So let's say we want to move some expenses out of meals and into entertainment because they're not deductible. We're going to say we're actually entertainment, 9/30/2020, and it's as simple as posting a debit and a credit. Say meals away games. Let's pull 10,000 out of there and move it over to entertainment. Simple as that. So you create the journal entry. You're going to immediately see it reflected here. But the cool thing is, because it has a deep integration with the accounting platform, it's actually going to push that adjustment clear back to the accounting software. So rather than posting this sort of thing in, say, your tax trial balance utility, and then having to go back through afterwards and get all those adjustments to your client somehow, it's being posted here so that you can very easily work with it and immediately see the adjustment. But behind the scenes, it's automatically getting pushed to the accounting software, so that additional step isn't something that you have to worry about. So that's an intro to BaCo Tech. Now, admittedly, this is a pretty big tool, and so I'm not going to do it justice by doing a kind of high-level flyover like this. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty, schedule a demo with the team, because there is a lot more to it. There's, intercompany things happening automatically. The command center is doing a ton of things. But if you get in now, they're looking for beta users, and you're going to have some voice in kind of what would be really valuable for your firm and how you approach your work. So hopefully that is helpful for you. Pretty interesting. Like I said, I'm going to be back in a couple of weeks with another video that talks about how this works into your tax software and how it may kind of change your tax season workflow. But until then, schedule a demo with the people at BaCo Tech if you do want to learn more, and hopefully this is something that's going to help you.